All right, hey guys, Brandon Hoffines here with Squatchnut. I've got two special guests with me today. I got Kyle and Jeremiah with Outfitters for Hope. This is something that we are so stoked to be a part of, and we're so stoked to be able to help these guys fulfill their mission, fulfill their dream, and make a difference in a child's and a family's life. Now, to get started with this, I'm an avid hunter. So are these two gentlemen right here. I've been hunting since I was a little kid. And throughout my hunting career, I've been able to harvest quite a few elk and some deer and a few other animals. When I harvest these, it's not just for the kill, it's because it's something that we use to eat and we provide for our families. So it's something that we really treasure and we cherish. It's time being out in the woods with our families. It's time being out there where we can be one with nature, one with God, if you will, and just experience just being away from it all. Now, I will tell you, throughout my years of hunting, I will go and we will go way back in, and it's 20, 30 miles in sometimes. And there are things that I've experienced that I can't explain, where trees are broken halfway up, and they're not just small, they're about this big around. Aspens, we all know how hard it is to break an aspen. There's things that I've heard, rocks being thrown at us. I can't tell you what it was or like anything like that. I can't explain it other than we all know it could have been a Bigfoot. I'm a huge believer. I love Bigfoot. It's something that I admire. Something that it's just mysterious. It's cryptic. I think that we all can relate on that. So when we're out in the woods, it's something that we encounter, and it's just what it is. So I'm going to introduce you guys to these awesome gentlemen. They're going to tell us a little bit about what they do, why they do it, and then we can kind of go into it after that of how Squatchnut is going to help them. So, Kyle, tell us a little bit about you and Outfitters for Hope.
Yeah, so Outfitters for Hope, we officially founded in 2019. We've got an amazing core of volunteers that were instrumental in just taking that leap of faith, really. But it was all rooted just in the conviction of making a difference. Just like you said, we were all raised in the outdoors. The gift of spending time in God's creation with people you love, like it takes you out of the reality and the busyness and just the chaos of life sometimes, right? That's a huge reset in my life. And what we found and what we've been able to recognize and participate in is when you have children, when you have families, they're facing tremendous hardships in life. What a great opportunity to give them something to look forward to. Steer them away from the I guess just the onslaught, almost, if you will, of treatment plans and doctors and appointments and long, long stays in the hospital. So Outfitters for Hope, really, our mission is to serve children with life-threatening illness and the children of fallen heroes. We want to take the experiences that we had growing up, that we hold so near and dear to our hearts. We want to pass that tradition on. We want to provide that opportunity for somebody to, again, just I guess, participate and engage in something that is larger than life, that captures the mystery of the outdoors, that creates an experience of fellowship that is really unmatched anywhere in today's busy society. So that's who we are. That's what we love to do.
That's amazing. When I reached out to these guys, something that I really wanted to do when I started Squatchnut was I wanted to make a difference. And the first person that popped in my mind was Kyle. I met him 2 years ago, maybe something like that. It was at my brother's archery shoot over here at Tamarack, and the stories that he was telling were so inspiring that I was like, I want to be a part of that, and I think that a lot of people would love to be a part of that. So I really appreciate you sharing that. Jeremiah, tell us a little bit about what you do and like what your role is with Outfitters.
So I'm the vice president of Outfitters for Hope, and kind of what falls on my table is filtering through the kids' applications when they come in and starting the logistics off. So I'll take 2022 for example. Outfitters for Hope, we founded in 2019. Started out in just Idaho, and in 2022 we had hunts in 4 different states with kids kind of from all over the place. So we had our first international hunter come down from Canada, which was super cool experience. He got to hunt here in Idaho. So the logistics side of that is it's a lot to bring on to get these kids here, get a family member here. So we have a fantastic team in place. We have guys that take care of travel coordination, application coordination, making sure the tags come through. And then, of course, putting the camps on and logistics is a feat within itself. So generally, we
Jeez.
provide 5 to 7 guys for a camp that go out, depending on the kiddos' needs, and hopefully from there, God provides for us.
That's amazing. So this guy right here does a lot of work, and he's got a team to make it happen. But I really appreciate you sharing that. How many camps did you guys have last year?
We had five camps in 4 states last year. Last year was our biggest year under Outfitters for Hope as an umbrella, and we're looking even bigger for 2023, hopefully.
That's pretty awesome. What states were you guys in?
This last year we did elk camp in Colorado. We did a mule deer and elk camp in Idaho, mule deer camp in Oregon,
And an antelope tag in
and an
Nevada.
antelope tag in Nevada.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. That's
Yeah,
so
pretty
cool.
fantastic.
That's so cool. Tell me a little bit about the experiences that you guys encountered while you were doing these hunts with the kids. What happened to the kids? You know, how did they respond to it?
So I can start with my camp. It was really cool this year. Actually, a lifelong friend of mine. I've known him for 30 years. His son was diagnosed with leukemia, and we were able to take him out on a deer hunt this year. Kind of the first experience we've had, and first interaction we've had in quite a few years. But we reached out kind of when Outfitters for Hope started. His son was diagnosed in 2019 with that leukemia, and is currently in remission. So we got to go out, killed a heck of a buck with him this year, and just awesome. The moments that happen on the mountainside, as Kyle and the rest of our team can pertain to, is pretty incredible. We see things not so much on the Sasquatch realm of things, but we see things created that they don't happen to you and me in the backcountry. The way God provides for these kids in our camps is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Some of the things that we get to experience. And we get to hunt really cool places that generally we'll never get tags in, so it's pretty fun.
Heck yeah. Heck yeah. How about you, Kyle?
Yeah, I would say as far as what does it do to the kids and what do we encounter? So, you and I have talked at length, just the conviction that I have with the people that are involved in this ministry and the heart that they have to share. Like one of the first hurdles that we always have to overcome, as you can imagine, a kiddo that's been kind of bombarded with, essentially a regimented treatment. They're kind of removed from their peer groups. A lot of times they're removed from the school setting. And so oftentimes they have walls.
Yeah.
And those walls are really to protect themselves. I get it. I understand it. But so does our team.
Yeah.
And so that's one of my favorite parts, honestly, is that whatever barriers we can kind of identify just within the personality and the child being a little bit more reserved, like one of our biggest goals is that by the end, it's high fives and hugs and harassment and jokes. And we are lifelong friends from that
It's
point.
family.
It really is family. Yeah. So I feel like that's one of the biggest components of our objective in creating this experience and fulfilling this dream. We want to walk away as family. We want that week in the mountains, not just to change and shape perspectives, but we want lasting friendships that are going to foster and continue to allow us to just mentor and speak truth into the lives of these kiddos for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, that's awesome. Before we got started, you guys were actually sharing with us some of the experiences that these kids had, and we watched some videos, and one was with CJ, right? Tell us a little bit about CJ.
So CJ had a pretty awesome testimony, and granted, we take kids from varying age ranges. As long as they're under 18, they'll qualify for our organization. Generally, what we find is the older kids, they bring a certain level of maturity. Not that I don't love the youthful enthusiasm of the little kids, but sometimes it's pretty neat when you can watch the kid begin to understand the power of his own testimony. And so what CJ did, which we have never seen before, is he was utilizing the Beads of Courage. It's a nonprofit organization that oftentimes kids going through cancer treatments or with extensive hospital stays, they're given a bead that represents a component of their treatment.
Jeez.
Makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It seems fairly straightforward until CJ, he brings out a little black bag. He says, hey, if you guys are okay with it, a little bit shy and reserved, like if it's okay, I'd like to share something with you. Like, gosh, CJ, of course. And he starts pulling out strings of beads.
That's crazy.
By the hundreds. And then goes to essentially explain how every single bead is representative of significant portions of his treatment and his story. It had us all in tears, absolutely in tears, overwhelmed by this physical representation of what this child had endured through years of cancer treatment. It was incredible.
Let's take a second. Let's actually show the clip. Just watch this and just hear his story of why and how he's collected these beads. So let's watch that now.
Alright, so what I have here is, they're called beads of courage. So every time you go through treatments, or every time you get poked, every time you get large pills, they give you a bead for it. So the black beads I know are pokes, which of course you'll see in a second. I have quite a few black beads. The bumpy beads right here are for hard medicine, like bigger styles of medicine that you have to take. They also had, some of them are blood transfusions, platelet transfusions, a lot of therapies. So I believe I got one of the pamphlets right here. The white is chemotherapy. So every white bead on here is one therapy that I've taken. And it's been a long hard way to get here, but the Lord blessed me, and He brought me through it. And if you want to get up close to that and get like a video of that too, you can do that. I know they give some for radiation. There's some just for milestones like Act of Courage. They have a lot of special beads like special accomplishments. One of the big special accomplishments is, of course, remission, and they give you a really special bead for that. And pokes, like I said, black. I've had line placements, which are right here. They're the orange ones. Red would be blood transfusions.
Port placement.
The port placement. That was. The beige is bone marrow. So, let's see if I can find one of them. Like that one. Or, well, more like that one. So, all those. And then gray is dressing changes. So I had a port put in, and every time they would put a needle in you, they put a dressing on there. When you stay in the hospital, obviously they want to change it every now and again. So every time they change the dressing out that's over the port, they give you one of those. Hair loss.
You was allergic because your skin. Remember how you broke out?
I had really sensitive skin, so that was pretty hard to deal with. ERs are magenta. I don't really know where those are. Yellow is inpatient or admissions. Bumpy, as I said earlier, is medical or medication challenges. The bumpy also represents immobility, so like wheelchair or crutches, anything I had to go through like that.
Do you actually have braces on your legs for a while?
I did have that. Radiation would be the glow-in-the-dark ones. So those, which I was actually scheduled for 2 weeks of radiation and was only able to do a little over a week of it because my brain had swelled so much, and they said they couldn't do it anymore. Light green is tests and scans, x-rays, EKGs. Rainbow is right there. It's care team visits. So like when I go see the doctor, which I mean there's not really that many on here, but we didn't really report all that many. So
Yeah, there's actually some beads at home that you didn't even bring with you.
yeah.
Truly amazing, man. Truly inspiring. Thanks for sharing that.
Absolutely.
That totally changed that kid's life just by being able to put those beads on the horns like that and just share his emotions. Like you said, he was a little reserved, but as he opened up, you can just tell the wave of emotion of joy and happiness and everything that he's gone through to live through that moment. So thanks for sharing that, man.
We're taking two really significant components of a child's life. One is their passion for the outdoors, right? That's what we share, and that's what we're gifted in being able to share. But it's pretty fun to be able to watch the recognition again, just of this testimony, the power of your story. That's what we want to equip each child with the knowledge of. Is your story and your testimony is powerful.
Yeah.
Now let's use it to impact the lives of others. So we get to take the context of hunting, something that's near and dear to CJ's heart, get to take this testimony that's just mind-blowing and allow him to blend the two and relate that to others. Like, it's such a cool thing to be a part of.
That is. That is. So the other clip that we were actually watching was this young kid who actually was able to harvest a really nice bear. And tell us a little bit more about that, Jeremiah.
Oh man, our story with Justice started in 2017. By the time we got him out to Idaho, it was 2020, I believe, correct? And through some hardships, we just couldn't get Justice out here when everything had started up with him. And we made some phone calls in 2020, and lo and behold, we got Justice out to Idaho for a bear hunt. Just again, an amazing testimony, an amazing kid who has endured more than we'll ever know in our lifetime.
Yeah,
for sure. Probably the three of us put together. And this kid, man, comes out to camp, all smiles, all jokes, and just puts the hammer down on a beautiful bear. Actually, on our last night of our hunt was pretty incredible. And as we're going to watch here in a few minutes, you can see Justice's testimony on what this meant to him and what it meant to all of us to get him out here finally after years and years of trying to make this happen. So awesome clip, awesome kid, just a phenomenal hunt, and we had a blast.
I sure enjoyed watching the clip as after he harvested the bear, just the sheer emotion of like joy. And it wasn't just his joy, it was everybody that was around him. And just, I don't know, there's something to say about that you really can't describe. And when watching that and just kind of just seeing his, I don't know, like his mental attitude of just something completely changed. Like, not only did I just do something that I've been wanting to do forever, I conquered that, but I could conquer life now. And it was amazing.
His attitude is something we can all learn something from, for sure.
Yeah. So we're going to watch that clip real quick, check it out, and we'll be right back.
Killed him dead. You got him. Justice, dude, you just killed a freaking tank, bro! Buddy, dude! Dude, come here, man. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Good job. Dude, I'm so proud of you right now. Good job, staying steady. Good work, dude. You dropped him freaking shine, dude.
I was going to say one of the really impactful components of Justice's hunt was actually a testimony from his dad. And so his dad, Justice started dealing with some of his physical limitations, and he had, a barrier that he had to accept and overcome as a child, but consider that from the perspective of a parent. Yeah. So as a parent, you're watching your child face these hurdles, and the way that his dad phrased it is he recognized the value of some of the things that he was able to experience with his own father.
Yeah.
And there was a degree of fearfulness and pain, and trying to accept the fact that he may never be able to have the same experiences with his son. So when he recognized that Outfitters for Hope was an organization that would at least give this opportunity a try. Yes, we had huge hurdles, huge barriers that we had to overcome, from mobility, vision, coordination, all the elements that sometimes we take for granted. He said, I never imagined somebody would be willing to give my son the experience that I had with my dad. And what this means as a father, I mean, he was just in tears sharing the value of that experience with his son that he never thought he would have. So that was incredible for us as an organization and just as a volunteer corps to be able to gift that and share in that with somebody else.
What I loved about that story is like hearing not only what happened in the change to the child, but to the dad, and just making a dream come true for him just as much for that kid.
Yes.
I mean, that family memory, that family connection, like that's something that they can't ever forget or replace. That's awesome, man. This goal for this coming up year, because this is stuff that you guys want to continue to do for a very long time.
Absolutely.
We want to be a part of it as well, and that's what it's all about. So tell us a little bit more about like your game plan, what the future has to hold, and what can we do to help?
I'm truly humbled that you would come to us. I think that like minds and like hearts, we can really change the world as long as we're working together. And so, some of the huge goals we've recognized clearly there are always going to be funding challenges, but also just recruitment and exposure to what the organization has to offer as a recruiting tool. I think you and I have had lengthy conversations when a family is kind of in that fight of their lives, if you will, understandably so. Like they're tunnel vision. They've got one priority, and that's that kiddo. And so it's usually essentially kind of those family and friend circles. It's the support groups that are often the ones that bring Outfitters for Hope to the forefront and allow them the opportunity. Hey, this is a cool thing. If this fits the heart of this kiddo, which the peer groups and the family groups recognize, like they're the ones that are bringing the pamphlet and the application to the forefront. So that's a huge goal of ours, just as we continue that outreach, if you will, is we want to improve the exposure so that kids don't get missed, that have a heart for what we offer.
Yeah, that's awesome. Jeremiah?
Yeah, I mean, to build off of that, as Kyle said, exposure is a huge thing. We started out in Idaho, and we've been trying to get our literature out. So we've got some families in Arkansas and now Louisiana, and some other places down south that are working with us. And as Kyle touched on, unfortunately, the need is there, and it's always going to be there. I mean, our goal as Outfitters for Hope is to never ever provide one of these hunts ever again. But in reality, that's not the case. So the outreach of getting more of these kids in is more difficult than you would expect. To get into the hospitals, to get our message out to them, to be able to touch base with these families is an experience that I don't think any of us kind of saw coming. But as we get through this, we're finding more and more kids, and 2023, me and Kyle just sat down and met about kind of the first trip we're looking at for 2023, and
Nice.
it's going to be a big year, I think, for Outfitters for Hope, and hopefully we get to change a whole bunch of kids' lives in the process of that.
I hope so too. I mean, I'd love to be a part of it. You know that, and I think that what you guys have got going on is truly amazing, life changing. It's a blessing, and it's going to change everybody's life who's actually going to be in that camp. So it's actually going to be something really, really cool and really, really awesome to see next year. I hope I get to be a part of it and go to one of these. Just to let you guys know that this is a 501c3, guys. This is a nonprofit, okay? So what Squatchnut is going to do, and starting in January 1 of 2023 all the way until the end of 2023, we are going to be donating up to 5%. So 5% of all of our net proceeds from that's purchases online, purchase in our local stores that we're going to be having coming to a store near you. 5% of our net proceeds are going to be donated to this outfit right here. So that way they can get all of the gear that they need, be able to provide the travel necessary to get the kids here, to do everything that they need to do. So with your guys' help, when you guys go on and you make a purchase and you buy some really, really cool Sasquatch gear, know that 5% of that is going to a great cause, and it's going to go to just making a dream come true for a family and a kid.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate it.
Absolutely.
It's humbling and it's overwhelming, Brandon. And what I love in your your outreach and your network, man, it spans so broad. I mean, Sasquatch, right? That's global. That's global, and the mystery and the allure, the I guess the demographics. Like what I love is that we're building bridges, and you and I discussed that, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody out there is a hunter, and I completely understand that. But at the same time, we all have this common thread of this passion and intrigue for the outdoors, right?
Yep.
And so to be able to recognize as parents, you know, oftentimes we can't even fathom what these families are enduring. And regardless of what that outlet is, every kid is going to be wired a little bit differently. The niche that we have, it's these kids that love hunting. Yes, that's what we grew up doing. It's not what everybody grew up doing, but everybody can relate to the fact that when you're in the middle of that type of a struggle or a battle, to be able to give the kid what their heart desires and mentor them through the testimony that they have to share. I mean, that's really what we're doing, right? So I love the way that you're able to just assist us, I guess, with broadening that outreach, like we already discussed. So I think it's incredible, man.
Oh, thanks, man. I don't know. It's truly humbling to meet you guys as well, and just to hear your guys' mission and what you guys want to do. So I think together we can make a difference, and that's what it's all about: is coming together for one cause, coming together, and that's just accepting everybody for who they are, and truly just valuing everybody for who they are, and wanting to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to help those dreams come true, regardless of what they are.
Absolutely, man. You know, the goal of mine here, and I think everybody be on board with it, is helping kids out.
That's right.
Who doesn't want to take part in that?
That's exactly right. I agree. So again, guys, check them out. Go to their website, Outfitters for Hope. Great guys, great organization. Go online, squatchnut.com, make a purchase, get some sweet gear, and remember, 5% of all the net proceeds are going to be going to this outfit right here to help create some dreams come true. So, thanks, guys.
Thank you.